Are we live?
I think so. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It is 7 o'clock on Monday, May the 4th, and I'm opening up the Scottsville Spring Commission meeting. Have a roll call, please.
Yes, ma'am. Molly Angevine,
Here.
Casey Kerrigan,
Here.
Nancy Gill,
Here.
Josh Peck,
Here.
Maggie Unsworth. Maggie is absent.
Alright, as you look over the agenda, are there any modifications? I have one on the ADA presentation. It should be commission, not council.
Hmm.
And I'm always very hopeful and optimistic, but I do not have the minutes to give you a seat. All right.
Noted.
So
I move to approve the agenda with the aforementioned adjustments.
second. All in favor? And opposed? Okay. I assume you're not.
That's what I was trying to check for you. No, ma'am.
Okay, I mean, I don't know, this is non-seating.
Okay.
He is planning to be on the seat. Okay, so let's skip over A and let's go to.
That's good. Okay. If you see anything pop up that might look like Lincoln, tell me.
What's gonna pop up?
On just this.
Yes,
Okay.
maybe. And I have it big right here. Well, hold on. Now I'm gonna actually go away from it. So maybe.
Oh,
Okay.
You know, if you want last reason, don't use here, I can be very good the center. So that where we can see. Okay.
Okay.
I know she wants.
So I'm gonna do my best to give you just a little overview about this Department of Justice ruling.
So we're gonna go back to,
Oh no.
oh. Okay, before,
Oh.
is there anybody in the public that would like to speak to us this evening?
There he is.
Okay. All right, so we're not doing that.
Hi, Lincoln. Can you hear us? Oh, there he is.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Where are we on the agenda?
We were gonna do the B, ADA presentation, but we can
Excellent.
do the A now if you'd like.
Oh, I'll just listen to the ADA presentation and
Okay.
prepare for my section. Yeah, thanks.
Yes, sir. All right, let's switch.
We're gonna try to make hot stuff.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wow. Your permission.
So I was trying to tell them that I am not an expert about this, but I have done a couple trainings. But basically, we're trying to make the web and all of our printed materials, but especially the web, more accessible to people with special needs in all varieties. So that might look like people not being able to use keyboards or mice, anything like that. So anyway, there's a lot of different things that we're going to go over. Oops, go back. All right, so the principle, web accessibility means that digital content, websites, online documents, portals, and services can be perceived, understood, and used by all people, including those with disabilities. Who is affected? As you know, visual impairments, hearing impairments, motor and mobility, like I said, being able to use these parts of the computer, cognitive and learning indifferences, and older adults using assistive technology, which there's a lot of really cool software nowadays for that. So the statistics are 1 in 4 US adults have some type of disability. So we really want to make sure that all of our materials, including things like our comp plan, are accessible to those people. 61 million Americans live with with a disability, and that's according to the CDC. And about 26% of Scottsville area residents are in that age group of 65 and older.
On his good sis.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you not see the?
And I can send you guys a copy of this as well. So the DOJ final rule, ADA Title II, which this actually came about in 2024. It was extended, and then luckily it was just extended again until next year. So on April 24, 2024, the US Department of Justice published a final rule under Title II of the Americans with Disability Act, ADA, requiring state and local governments to meet WCAG, WCAG 2.1 level AA for web content and mobile applications. So number 1, the legal basis. Title II of the ADA prohibits discrimination by public entities. The DOJ rule interprets non-discrimination to require accessible web content, closing a long-standing gap in federal guidance. So yes, even though we've gotten by this far, we're really trying to help for the future. Number 2, who must comply? All state and local government entities, including municipalities like Scottsville and their departments, boards, and commissions. This includes the Planning Commission. Number 3, the standard required. WCAG 2.1 level AA, the internationally recognized technical standard developed by the World Wide Web Consortium, which is W3C. This is now a legal requirement, not just best practice.
Okay, so could you tell me what WCAG is?
Yeah, so that's the exact portion of the law. It's the name of it.
Okay, so
It's yes, it does. It's web. It does stand for something. I'll tell you back then later.
Okay.
I don't remember off the top of my head. All right, so it was published. The large entities, population of 50,000 plus, were supposed to comply as of this month on the 28th. We just got an extension, especially for schools and local governments. So that puts us in the April 2027 deadline. Very good, because that means, I mean, we're gonna have to work really hard to meet these requirements.
Now, one question I have is this website.
So they have ADA accessibility incorporated into the website. And a lot of things do, like our Word document, like Microsoft Word. If you go to the bottom when you're creating a document, you can see there's like a man image, and you can see if it meets requirements. It says good to go or needs attention.
So I can't see that whole section.
It says-
to say.
It just says, while Scottsville's compliance deadline is April 2027, any new web content, including meeting agendas, minutes, public notices, or documents posted to the town website must be accessible as soon as it's published. So that's fine. Good job. The extension is helping us with all of our back goods to meet it. Everything that we create now has to meet it today. We don't have a year. Got it? So yeah, ongoing, all the new content plus all of our documents that we have on our website. I'll give it.
Plenty of room there for it.
Is that better, you guys?
Wow.
Yay, we should have done that in the beginning.
Well, then the public would be able to participate.
Well, they're not here.
Yes.
Okay,
We'll solve that too.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you share your screen onto Zoom, please?
yeah, so I need, yes, sir. I'm gonna try to figure that out for you really fast.
Hey, Susan.
You got it?
Yes,
Awesome.
thanks.
So I'm just gonna let you kind of see these for a moment. I wonder, can I move him out of the way like that? All right. Okay, so the 4 principles you can remember with CORE: perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. So P, text alternatives for non-text content, captions for audio and video. And last meeting,
That's right, Maria.
Maria Morel showed us how we can add captions. And I will do that anytime anyone asks for them, and it's pretty easy.
Do that every time.
You think?
Yeah, I think she just didn't have it too.
Okay.
Don't worry about it, like.
Content can be presented in different ways, and there's got to be this color contrast, which is 4.5 to 1 ratio.
So the presentation you're showing us right now, is that?
I think, to my best knowledge, I gave it my best shot.
Okay, in what way? I mean, like, are we talking about the text or?
We're talking.
Yeah, so the fonts, anything, so nothing should have like serifs. So there's text stipulations. Actually, like, we're not supposed to be using PDFs anymore. We're supposed to move to HTML only. Okay.
I was just asking when you said as far as I know.
Yes, so I tried to meet these requirements, but like I said, I'm not an expert.
Okay, it's just if we're gonna be doing that to the comp plan, we kind of need to know, you know. Is it necessary to do that?
Well, we have it here. We're here, we're just gonna stop on before we.
Yeah, so you have to do it as soon as it's submitted.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna try to follow all of these things, and like I said, if you're using these different, and on Apple, I know a lot of you guys use Apple programs, there are accessibility functions to help you as well. And there's a website where you can plug anything in to it, and it spits out if it's meeting the requirements. Okay, so operable, all functions available from the keyboard. So like side scrolling versus up and down scrolling. The class that I watched, I was trying to watch a person with special needs navigate a website that you had to scroll, and it shouldn't be like that. Everything should be able to text wrap so that you can read without scrolling. And no content that flashes. So for seizuring, users can skip repetitive navigation. So if you have a screen reader, everything has to be labeled within your document. And actually, I'm pretty sure I did not do this. I will go back and do it. Each slide of your presentation has to be named a different thing, because if they're all named the same thing, it won't pick it up. There's got to be enough time to read and use content. Understandable language of page is identified. Navigation is consistent throughout. Input errors are clearly identified. Labels for all form inputs. So if you have like a fillable form, and that's the other thing that is really hard to make accessible. But we've got to. are robust, compatible with current assistive tech, name, role, value for all UI components. Content works across browsers and devices, so it's got to be able to be pulled up on each browser, etc. You can't just be like, oh, well, if you don't have Chrome, too bad.
UI components, I'm not familiar.
That's a technological standard.
Oh. Okay.
Like, hold on, I'm gonna take it and come. It's something I think universal.
User interface.
User interface. Thank you, Lincoln. All right.
Yeah.
Have you been learning about this, Lincoln?
Oh, I understand the general concepts. My wife used to do this 508 compliance for the U.S. government,
Oh,
Veterans
wow.
Affairs.
So she's
Yeah.
probably a great resource. All right.
I don't know, we get my, I'll come here.
Oh, no. Okay. So the town website and all the web pages, the agendas, public notices, everything, maps, surveys, GIS materials, they have to be accessible. And again, I'm not sure how we do that, but I know that we'll figure it out. Even newsletters and announcements, things like that have to be. Common practical requirements, alternative text, describe every image in documents and web pages. So the other thing, when I was doing this class, there was I think they showed like a Subway page and it had a picture of each sandwich. So that when you're looking at it, it's like 20 different sandwiches, but they actually all look the same, really. And so each screen reader description, as soon as you hovered over it, it said sandwich. And so that's not helpful if you're somebody, you need to access which sandwich that is. So you have to be very, very descriptive. Readable PDFs, all PDFs must be tagged, not just scanned images. So each portion of your PDF has to be labeled. Your heading, heading 1, heading 2, any bulleted information. You have to,
So when you say label,
yes, so there's actually a way within like Adobe.
it's setting up the structure of that.
Yes. And you can see all of it in the side. All right, and so keyboard nav, like I said, all functions must work without a mouse. So you have to be able to like tab on your keyboard and click on each link. And Miss Maria Morel was so helpful to me about the click here is not acceptable. The links have to be descriptive. You have to say whatever you're about to click on. So the headings, they have to have proper heading structure. And that doesn't mean that it's just bold.
Right.
It has to be actually labeled a heading. You guys hanging in there? It's a lot. Okay, so how this affects the planning commission. Your meetings and records. Agendas must be posted in accessible format before the meetings. Minutes posted to the website must be properly tagged PDFs or accessible HTML. And what I think I'm learning is that is the easier method for me. It's really complicated trying to make all of those tagged PDFs. And there are whole companies that you can pay. You pay by the page. And you also, if you are in conflict or non-compliance, the government is going to fine you per page. So it's very financially problematic.
But in the HTML, because there are no pages, right?
It's just flowing, yep.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So public hearing notices need accessible formatting. Staff reports and attachments shared online must meet standards. So anything that you attach, so if you're trying to attach a document that someone else made, it doesn't matter. The fact is that you're attaching it, so you're responsible for it to be accessible. If you don't, if you don't know, then I would just not link it until you do know. Public participation, online comment forms must be keyboard accessible. And again, I'm not even sure what that looks like for us. Virtual meeting platforms must support screen readers and captioning. I'm gonna look into how much of that is incorporated into Zoom already. Or how much we actually have to go in behind the scenes and ask it to do. Maps and site plans shared publicly need text alternatives. Presentation materials used in public hearings should be accessible. So the comp plan materials, the comp plan document itself must be compliant. The online, so if you have online survey tools, they must be accessible. Any maps, charts, or graphics need descriptive alternative text, and that gets complicated too when you have a big table to make it accessible. Public notice and comment periods must be accessible to all residents. Scottsville is currently updating its comp plan. The DOJ rule creates both a legal obligation and an opportunity to embed accessibility into the planning process from the beginning. This is what I recommend. We're going to conduct public engagement throughout or through accessible tools and formats, post all draft and final plan documents in accessible PDF format. So I think that in this circumstance, because you guys have so many different variability, like you got so many images, etc. I think that you ensure that the comp plan website, which you guys do not have a dedicated page, but if you did create one, then it has to meet these standards. Include a digital accessibility policy element within the plan itself. I mean, I know that means that that's more work for you guys. Strategic opportunity, signal Scottsville's commitment to inclusive governance, build institutional knowledge before the 2027 deadline. And that is like, we need to be very proactive and really try to implement all these things in our whole practice, holistically speaking. Make the process more equitable for all community members. So we're going to be informed. We're going to support staff. I'm going to try really hard to help you guys and pass on whatever knowledge that I'm getting throughout my clerk training. And you can, the comp plan integration, as the comp plan update moves forward, request that accessibility standards be written in scope, ask questions, the town attorney. So I would really like to try to meet with Jim Bowling and see what his knowledge about this is and see if he has any ideas or input. All right. And that, my friends, is the end of
That's it.
that is.
So, but I've got a feeling it's more,
Oh, it's so complicated, but I can't give
too much with the website anyway.
no. So it's not the website. That's off your hands. It's more about trying to make sure that your document, your comp plan, is perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust.
So as long as we're using a sans serif font.
I think that the color contrast ratio is important.
Okay.
And like you'll notice that like the blue, I think that this is what the accessible agenda I think is supposed to look like.
Okay.
And that's why when you are in your Microsoft Word and you're trying to create headings, it automatically turns blue. And I always try to unchange, like, I'm like, well, I don't want it to be blue, but I think there's just a reason.
Someone was gonna mention about that document at the very bottom, it has a note.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of seems council related and not planning.
Yes, because this was a template that we gave from because we made our council agenda and gave it to Miss Nancy so that she could try to use it as a template.
Okay.
But you are absolutely right, Molly. It
Oh,
was. The original one was made for council.
Okay, I wasn't trying to call anybody out,
No.
I just didn't know if it pertained.
No, it,
WCAG means web content.
Yes.
Accessibility guidelines.
guidelines. Web content accessibility guidelines.
How will this pair with, in the comp plan, we were discussing having, a multitude of hyperlinks?
That's the hyperlink thing that I think as long as it has descriptive title, yes.
Okay.
It's different from each other.
Yes, ma'am. They can't be matching because it will confuse the screen reader.
And,
And that my goal was to give you guys an overview, and I was asked to do this very blind. Like I said, I'm neck deep in researching it myself. But I am here. If you guys have any specific questions, I will try my hardest to find them out for you.
okay, well, I think it's also up to us to look into it too, but.
Yes, yes, but
Initial residents.
yes, and always, I mean, I think people working together, I mean, two brains is better than one. So, and sometimes, yeah, but sometimes, you know, you guys can catch something and I won't, or whatever. I think it's just nice to be working together and having the same, that's the point, is we need to all know, that was my point of this presentation, was to give you a overview and to tell you the point. The point is, it's not just a legal stipulation. I mean, it is, and there are repercussions, financial repercussions and fines that are carried with it. But it's more of this is our responsibility to our community, and especially with you guys trying to meet this comp plan. And you want everyone to be able to enjoy it. Right?
Well, see, just from my knowledge, if you had anything more about the fonts that you could talk.
Yes.
about, I really feel like.
There, so I don't really, I'm not very specific, but I can get you, what I will do is get you a list of accessible fonts.
Yeah.
And I will give you the list of the colors. But like I said, the best way that I've done it is I just try to make my document and I keep checking the bottom of my screen and seeing if it's flagging that it's not accessible.
Yeah.
And
I don't
then
know, are they gonna have applications?
I think eventually, I think that, but like I said, there are ones that are more helpful than others.
Yeah.
And I think Adobe is kind of just complicated anyway. I mean, and it always is updating it anyway. I'm always trying to just learn it, period. But when I was specifically trying to make accessible documents on it, PDFs, I was struggling and it took a lot of time. Tagging each individual item was very time consuming. But,
Yeah.
and like I said, I think eventually we're going to have software incorporated that it automatically does it. But for right now, it's going to be a little bit of a rough transition. Yes, ma'am. I was like, oh.
Like maybe once a month, well, we meet once a month.
Yes, ma'am.
If you could come up with some things for us.
Yep.
Every other month or something, like if you could give us a demonstration on a computer
Oh, yeah.
that we could actually see.
Yes, ma'am. And like I said, I'm not an Apple user.
But that, do you need to have an app?
No, but I know that a lot of you guys are. So, well, I would just want to make sure that I'm compliant. I'm not just giving only one demonstration, but I will have to, yes.
I mean, we had it at one point, we're using Word or something.
Mhm.
But then, now everything is in Adobe.
Right.
Lincoln,
Lincoln, does it say that your document is accessible? Have you ran like?
No, I have not ran that in InDesign.
Okay.
So in design, that's where it gets.
Yes.
Well, it's gonna shift the whole document.
Well, I mean, it's too.
Oh, each page.
Yeah.
So easy.
I suggest we have a discussion with Mr. Bowling first to understand if we actually are required to have the comp plan accessible in this way. I think that's the first step legally. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that what they're saying is any new document.
Yes, yes, the deadline is today as far as anything that we're creating.
Yeah, but I think we still should review the requirements. If you can send me the links, because from my professional experience of more than 20 years as an architect, main purpose is to find a loophole. Yeah.
Lincoln.
Yeah. So because this is very challenging.
No,
I
I
can guarantee
understand.
you that,
I was overwhelmed, like I said, with just agendas. And then, and then my next big thing to tackle is minutes, but I have to not only, like I said, be making each set of minutes that I create now, but I have to go back. Any minutes that we have accessible online have to be, I mean,
But, yeah.
anything that I have online has got to be accessible.
Yeah, and it's subjective.
It
Yeah.
is.
It's
But
just-
as far as the law goes,
Yeah.
it's very, try to go read it. I was trying really hard. And I was like, I don't get it.
Subjective and that we can fulfill it pretty easily, you know what I mean?
Hopefully, yes.
You know, that we can, yes, we are.
And I'm with Lincoln that if there's a loophole or if there's a way to make it kind of not stipulate
Well, I think that if we're shown,
Good
you know,
faith.
Good faith.
exactly.
Like, it can't be like you're gonna be fined if you don't redo this document. I think that, we're probably pretty well in the zone, but I don't know that for sure. So,
Well, we're gonna try our hardest to review it, and I do agree that we're gonna get Mr. Bowling involved, see what he says.
So should Lincoln just contact Mr. Bowling or, how should that be?
I don't know if Lincoln feels comfortable with that or if,
Maybe we can just have a group Zoom.
yeah,
Because I know our photo captions comply generally, best effort there. Our link text generally complies. We do have alternative text for our maps already on the pages.
great.
But overall, we have 140 some pages. To have this professionally done, it would probably be 10,000 or
Yes.
more dollars. Yeah. It's more than we actually spent on the plan itself in hard costs.
Right.
Yeah, and yeah. Well, you're gonna get a plaque, so it's all gonna work.
Well, yeah, we'll try our best to comply with this. So if it's just the font that we need to switch, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, we could have maybe, pending the analysis of the requirements, we could have one that's very, graphic designed version of the comp plan, and then one that is the bare bones compliant with the ADA and such standards. Yeah.
And that makes sense to me, Lincoln. If you have an option that's accessible, then you have an option that's accessible, but it might read that every option has to be accessible, but I don't know.
Sure, and then like even the Scottsville blue that we use in the comp plan, I don't know if it's high enough contrast as
Yeah.
black and white. Yeah. So
5 or higher?
4.5 to 1.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I mean, can you do one that's higher than minimum, like, it's a minimum, okay, thank you.
I mean, ideally it would be black and white, right? Which is the highest contrast, I would assume.
Yeah, but like I said, I think there's something to do with this blue coloring. I don't know. I'm trying my hardest to figure it out.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. But I was like, I was very shocked when I was at my conference and I had a 3-hour class on this and I was going,
Yeah,
I was going,
yeah, it's overwhelming.
yes, especially because I already felt like, I'm like, I feel like we're pretty accessible. Yeah. But the example that the gentleman gave me, he's the I guess manager of accessibility for Virginia Tech. And so he said that there was a complaint about the pressure needed to open a bathroom door in one of the school buildings. And it can't be so much of a weight. There's actually a machine that you attach it to and it tells you how much pressure, how much that you need. And and I was like, whoa. And he goes, yeah. So when that one student complained about one door, I then had to go to 136 buildings and check every door because as soon as if these people come in to check and there's been a complaint and you didn't do your due diligence to make sure that everything is compliant, then they have no patience with that. But anyway, so that was just the one thing and I was going, ooh. But I was like, well, we've got an ADA door and an elevator, and I'm like, at least we have,
It's so important, and I was over at the Scottsville School,
Mhm.
the apartments there, and one of the doors is out and has been for a really long time. And they've been told about it and all that, and, imagine one of those residents trying to get through the
Yes.
door to go somewhere, or to even, escape.
Yep,
danger.
and so the
It's
mobility, the timing with the doors is very important as well, because it could open, the button may work to open the door, but the amount of time it takes to get from that button with your wheelchair through the door. Yes.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of things to think about, and if you don't have
That's a good example.
a need yourself, it's really hard for you to think or start thinking about that. But that was basically my big broad goal, was to just get our brains focused in the right direction. All of the things that we're doing as an entity, a government entity, need to be accessible to everyone, and it's not just blind and deaf or low mobility. It's for people with learning disabilities. So anyway, there's just a lot.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay, now we can go back to A.
There you go, Lincoln.
Okay, so we're ready to talk about the comp plan?
We're always ready to talk about the company.
Yes. So first of all, I emailed the planning commissioners that we got an email and letter from VDOT that they have no comments on the draft comp plan that we sent to them.
Good.
I have sent that to you earlier this evening. They also mentioned that due to our population projection and the contents of the comprehensive plan, traffic impact analysis or assessment is not required either. So generally speaking, we've crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's with VDOT. Yeah, even though we did not get any technical assistance, but yeah, they have confirmed that basically we've complied. Even though we're not able to do a traffic impact assessment or analysis ourselves because we don't have that capability or the money to hire consultants. Yeah. Okay. And then from our last meeting, which was the hearing, I'll just share the resolution on the screen. If you could allow me to share the screen, that'd be great.
Yes, sir.
Either Elizabeth or Whitney. Yeah, thanks. Okay. So we have this draft resolution. Okay. And that was then approved at the meeting. Okay. So Whitney, thanks so much for signing.
Yes, and I will get the mailing affidavit attached to it like it says. But yes, so I'll talk to you more about that too.
Okay. And I'd be glad to draft one up for you if you need help with that. I can just use the same Word doc. But again, this is not compliant, right? With what we just discussed. So yeah, I think the point is we try to get all the information and the requirements done for the actual planning process. And then we worry about how to make it compliant with ADA, right? So I don't know if you want to do this HTML and then you somehow make your name and image or such. I leave that to you. But basically for the actual comprehensive plan document, we have a page for the town council resolution. So what I've done, I've already drafted up a suggested town council resolution that looks similar to this.
Okay.
And it includes this editorial parameters and the amendments. So basically, the amendments wouldn't technically be needed, but to be included there, but just these editorial parameters. So I've included that in the latest draft. So let me transition over to that document. Okay. Okay, I'll share my screen again. Let me just get everything positioned here. Okay. So we'll go into full screen view. Okay, you should be able to see the full screen draft comp plan. Okay. So this is the version dated 4th of May, 2026. Okay. So I'll just walk you through the key updates. Okay. So the acknowledgements, of course, remains the same. Executive summary remains the same. For instance, this page, I changed all the red highlighted text to hyperlinks. Okay. So you can see each hyperlink has its own text description. So I think this generally complies in terms of that requirement. Just the only thing that I think would need further clarification is the font for the small font, the text font, not the headings, from what I read on the website very quickly. So here is that suggested draft town council resolution. Okay. So it's very similar to what we did for planning commission. Okay. So including those editorial parameters, if you can see my little mouse hand, that's where I mentioned attached here to publishing information on page 135. So the reason I highlighted 5 in red is because that might change, the number of the page might change for a reason I'll tell you. But anyway, we still have some gaps to fill in, like what days we post our notices, so on and so forth. Okay. And this again would be signed by the clerk, and then we would record the vote, just like last time for the planning commission. Okay. So I think this is important, and other counties do this too. For instance, Albemarle has done this in their comprehensive plan where they make the resolution front and center. I think this is good practice. Okay. And it also carries a good amount of weight. Okay. So one other amendment that we listed in the actual planning commission resolution was to move the copyright page to the rear of the document because it was kind of at the beginning, a little bit confusing. So I'll just show you here. It's the next to last page, okay? And I've phrased it publishing information. It includes the copyright, it includes the citation, other things, okay? And then that last page is these editorial parameters, like I mentioned, okay? So what updates need to go through a formal process, public hearing, and what updates that are minor and superficial, so on and so forth, can be updated by staff and then put in the minutes of the planning commission meeting. That's really how it's written. Okay. So this would all be pending town council approval, but this is the suggested process to make it flexible for minor matters and inconsistencies or errors. Okay. So those are all listed here. And again, this was not the first time this has ever been done. Albemarle County did practically this a few months ago when they updated their comprehensive plan. Okay. So that's the very rear of the document. Okay. So other updates that are all within these editorial parameters that I listed. For instance, I added the term publishing information here. So that includes that copyright page because it was at the beginning here and then I moved it to the end here. Okay. So those are the editorial matters. Okay. So let me just transition back to my Word document because I'm keeping a list of every editorial thing that I do. So basically, I've updated hyperlinks. I still have some more hyperlinks to do. I will double check hyperlinks to make sure that they have a unique description, just like you mentioned, Whitney, with these requirements. I will double check the captions, so on and so forth, but I've been updating those. And I did add the view corridor ordinance. That was another requested amendment during our hearing by the Planning Commission. So let me just transition to page 100. And as you'll recall, there's a potential power line going in near town in Fluvanna County, right? So that's why this came about. It just transitioned to page 100. Okay. So now it's 99, but that's a thing I have to go back and double check the pageation. But yeah, here's the view corridor ordinance that was drafted right before the meeting when we had the hearing, and then this text was included in the hearing. Um, the only editorial thing that I changed was I added the word ordinance so it makes sense with all the other headings. So I'm sure that's allowable. But yeah, the only thing I had to do on this page was kind of shrink this tree photo to make room on the page. So again, these are all editorial matters. Okay. So the key thing that I still have left to do is to go through the document and look for some remaining hyperlinks that I need to hyperlink. You can see on the page right now this red text. Let me just zoom in if yeah. So those need to be hyperlinked, and at the same time, I'll check the ADA compliance on those. Another thing I want to mention graphically is I found that the pages between the chapters was really difficult to differentiate. So then I noticed that, on our cover page, we use this blue slash, I guess we call it diagonal line, right? So that's one graphic proposal that I have that's within our editorial parameters. So let me just show you a page here. I think this makes it a lot easier to kind of tell where the chapters are and easier to read. And it kind of carries through that same language. Yeah. Just want to let everyone know. Yeah. And it also makes this text in the bottom right-hand corner compliant. I'd have to say that this white text was on top of the photo, and it would likely not meet the contrast requirements of the ADA that we just talked about. Yeah. Okay. So again, and one other thing that I also need to do is these citations. So for instance, let me just find one. Here's a good example. Okay. So, for instance, the town has this document that they worked with the VCU student called Land Use Scenarios for Scottsville. Okay. So I've already put in previously the hyperlink symbol. So I think that's very clear. That's at a hyperlink, but I do need to kind of cite it. Where is this document? Who wrote it? What year is it from? So that red X is that footnote. So the whole idea there is that those citations will be back on this page, the reference sources, okay? So if anyone has a question on a document or they want to find out more, they can come to this page and they can look at all the planning documents we reference, so on and so forth. So this is why the number of pages might grow at the end. So that's why I said that this might be page 34 might be 135, but it might grow. But that's okay because the most important thing is our pagination hopefully does not change beyond that because it's only growing at the very end. Okay, just to explain. Yeah. Also, thanks for mentioning these hyperlinks. So I have this little icon here, Whitney, you can see, and all of these are hyperlinked. So I hope that doesn't create problems, but they're all very clear on what the titles are, so on and so forth. So hopefully that meets the requirements, or we try our best effort. Yeah. Okay, so beyond that, I just have one other thing to mention is on our punch list is the survey information. So when we had our public hearing, the amendment was that we need to write a little bit more about our survey and remake these graphics so they're a little bit clearer. Because right now you can see the text. The text of these graphics is gray, right? This is from SurveyMonkey or something. This probably doesn't meet the contrast requirements, so that's why I need to kind of remake them into our other kind of style for bar charts. Let me just go back. Let's see, bar charts. It's right here. So this is very clear. You can see how even the light blue is kind of outlined with a black line. So I think that complies with in terms of contrast. Yeah. But I'll just remake our SurveyMonkey charts like this and further describe the survey as is required as an amendment. Okay. So let me just double check my list one more time of things that we need to do here. Yeah. The only last thing I'll mention is the maps having to do with sewer and water. Okay. So let me go to that page. Yes. Okay. So this is our public infrastructure and services map. So we had many discussions with Albemarle County Service Authority, and for a while they were not comfortable with us showing the sewer lines and water lines in our map. Even though the last two comp plans had done that. But I discussed with them and I suggested that, hey, we understand that, the county and other partners want us to build out and use the infrastructure available, right? Because we know that the sewer system, for instance, is only at 50% capacity. So how can we encourage the use of Scottsville's infrastructure if no one really knows where it is? Like, for instance, prospective land owners or developers, for instance. So they understood that argument, and they are agreeable to us showing the water and sewer lines. We just need to show them the map before we publish it so that they can double check. So I've already got the map updated. I just need to email it to them, and I'll copy Nancy since and Elizabeth, since Nancy and I have talked to them before. I think with Casey also. But just to explain, since we're on this page, this is kind of that additional descriptive text for all the maps. So hopefully this all meets the requirements. And then it's just the day that the comp plan is approved by town council, then I would update that date in the final document. Yeah. Okay, so that's where we are with that. And then basically, I want to do one final read of the document for any typos or graphic inconsistencies that might arise. And this is all within the editorial parameters that we laid out. Then, once that's done, I've suggested that a planning commissioner or two do one final proofread. I know both Casey and Maggie have done a lot. I know Maggie's not with us today, but that's my suggestion, to do one final proofread. But one option, because again, these editorial parameters are all within the power of the Planning Commission in the future, as long as Town Council grants those powers, we could do one final edit after Town Council approval. That would be one way of saving a little bit of time and getting through Town Council as soon as possible. So again, Maggie's not here. I don't want to talk too much about the the editorial schedule, because I got to get my portion done first, right? But that's my suggestion. Yeah. And this ADA considerations, which I think we all agree on, and we think they're important, but they will take a little bit more time to kind of think about. Yeah. And meet with Mr. Bowling, of course. Yeah. So thanks so much. And if we do have to change the font, like all this small font from the sans serif, yes, in theory we can change it to Helvetica, but it will never fit exactly. So it seems simple, and I have a lot of font styles set up in this Adobe InDesign program. So in theory, it would be relatively quick, but there's always hiccups, right? So that's why I think we still meet with Mr. Bowling, and we find out the full parameters. Because I know, Whitney, like you mentioned, it's probably a very complicated requirement and how it's written. Yeah, just like the comprehensive plan requirements are in the Code of Virginia. Yeah, yeah. So those are my ideas. Yeah. So thanks so much. Glad to discuss further. Let me just turn on the light where I am. It's getting dark.
We have one quick edit for you when you get a sec.
Yeah, go for it.
So on that last page you were on,
Acknowledgements.
Yep.
so Whitney has been promoted to actually work, and so I guess that
Yeah.
wasn't like that.
Yes.
He's changed.
Does that sound good? How it is there on the screen? Yeah. And let me know if there's any other folks that you see that need to be updated. Yeah.
Probably it should be, council member, not liaison.
Yes, because yes, that is a very important legal title.
Oh, here?
Yeah, instead of.
Okay.
Council member.
Okay.
The town council is gonna be working on the budget. they're not gonna be like, they're chomping at the bit for the comp plan at this point in time. It's really important that we, get it to them, or us, or however I say that. But, it's gonna be a preoccupation with the budget to get it done. Oh, you're more to the there.
It all of a sudden just came out of nowhere that we needed to do this. I was like, no, haven't we all known that we needed to do this?
Things are being done, well, very differently than they were. So we
Yep.
kind of on that.
On that train, yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted you all to know that it gives us some breathing room, these adjustments.
All right. Anything else?
Maybe
One other question since we got you here, Whitney. So we've got this ordinance on the page here. So do you want me to just write your name here and not your signature, or do you want to be really fancy and do a digital signature? Or it's up to you. Yeah.
I would have to make my digital signature on the Adobe and get it to you. Okay.
Yeah. However you like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nancy said that that's easy, so I can do it. I think that would be the professional.
Yeah. So we make this, I mean, this will be the real document where you sign it. Yeah. Good. Okay. Yeah. So, let's talk about schedule. So, the next town council work session is on the 11th of May, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So I can work 1 or 2 more days this week. I've got something else going on. So we're probably not going to be able to meet that entirely. We can come very close. I won't have it. I can get all the updates done, but I won't have the time to read through the document one last time.
Well,
And also,
wouldn't we only need, because we don't make any votes or anything at the work session, so wouldn't we need to hold off anyway until the actual regular meeting to review it?
Yeah.
it's so good. They don't want to change. Period.
Yeah, so we have to present it to them by the work session. Is that what you're saying?
well, my understanding, if I could just kind of maybe talk about this with everyone, the most important thing for the town council is they receive the document and then they call for public hearing, right? Just like the planning commission did, right? Then we have to make the notices and so on and so forth, right? So as we discussed previously, there has to be 2 notices, maximum of 28 days and minimum of 5 days, right? Nancy, I see Nancy smiling. So if the town wants to go with Seaville Weekly again, we know the deadlines for them, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And
We can chart that out, but I would suspect that even if we get the document done by the work session, then and that's not proofreading, right? Because Casey and Maggie would be proofreading through the night. I don't want to do that, right? But and we also need to check the hyperlinks one more time, and there's still a lot of double checking to do. But again, not all these small nitty gritty error checking, I guess we could call them, needs to be done at this moment, in my opinion, because again, we have this editorial parameters as we've written in. So if we can get everything together in terms of the content by the 11th of May, town council can at least receive it and then plan their hearing, right? The problem is, I don't think we have enough days to even catch the town council meeting on May 25th, right?
26th. It's the day after the memorial.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe we could do a count right now to understand how important it is to meet what date. maybe I'll pull up the previous Seville weekly requirements, if that's okay.
So, yeah, they have to be in
By the Wednesday before.
the Friday.
I mean, the Friday before, in order, because Wednesday is when they're published.
Okay. So,
And they have a
That's
whole
good.
chart.
okay, so let's see. Wednesday they're published.
Okay.
So let's say we want to maybe if town council wanted to have their hearing on the 25th of May, we need to work back 5 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need to have the newspaper posting on the 20th of May. And then Seville Weekly is only once a week, right? So that's where we're caught because the town council would technically need to we would need to decide and then submit the publication to Seville Weekly by 8th of May if we want to catch the 25th. Yeah. Unless we want to go with a different newspaper. Yeah.
Right?
No, that's what Miss Angevin,
In the June is.
more realistic.
No, right now, things are up in the air in a lot of areas, and I think it's important that we concentrate on budget, that's really important.
Yeah.
So if we get distracted on something saying we need to do this real quick, it's
Then
just
it'll
gonna
be-
throw
yeah.
everything off, so I would really rather go to the work session and make sure that they have some idea, or maybe we could talk about some sort of schedule, but right now there's so much loose here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
That's a great point. I appreciate that, Molly. So let's get all of our own things in order.
Yeah, so there's no reason for you to rush either.
Cross T's and dot the I's. Yeah, because I understand the budget is very, very urgent for the town. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can meet with Mr. Bowling and have a little bit more time to relax in a relaxed way to talk about it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So here's what I can suggest. Maybe I can draft up some very simple talking points for whoever's going to give the update to the town council. And I will send it to both Nancy and Molly, and then we can all kind of, understand what should be reported. And I'd be glad to, write up more bullet points if you need them, just so we can be very clear with town council, because I know they want to read the document, but they're busy with the budget, right? And I mean, I can PDF the document right now and send to Mr. Heisen or others if he's really wanting to see the latest document. Yeah.
I think that they're all going to, well, I would hope that they would all feel as if they'd like to read it. And it's not gonna be like in the next day or two, you know what I mean? So I think it would be nice to give them now a preview, because really all that's gonna happen is just some adjustments to some footnotes and things like that. I think that would be very, very nice.
Okay. So what I'll do, I'll just finalize the document to export tonight, how it is, and then I'll send you a link to that PDF, that the whole planning commission, and then do you want me to send it to the town council or?
Just send it to all of us all at once.
Okay, so I'll send it to the town council and planning commissioners. Okay, and I'll explain to them briefly the situation. And there's a few I's to cross and I's to dot and T's to cross, right? Okay. Okay, well, thank you so much. I think this is very good, and I thank you, Whitney, for your presentation. I think this is clear. Yeah, and just let me know. Generally, to meet Mr. Bowling, I'm available later this week, and then also next week after the 16th. I'll be in a different time zone. Yeah. Okay, great.
So when is the next planning commission meeting?
And the work session next one.
Yeah, then you guys, yeah. Because I was just saying that, we could ask Mr. Bowling to zoom in during that and that could, June 1. Do you want me to see if he's available that day?
Well,
This is just to go through the ADA stuff, right?
Yeah,
For the comp.
yeah. Just to get his
Yeah.
input.
I mean, one other option is we could have a so-called small group discussion without quorum.
Yeah.
Just to talk with him as soon as possible so we kind of understand the situation, because if he says that we do need to comply 110%, then we have to, it would be faster for me to switch the font now
Right.
rather than wait until the very, very end, right? So, or if he's agreeable with two
If
different
he's
versions.
available, yeah, because would you just want it to be like with you and me and Mr. Bowling? Like,
Well, I think it'd be good to have
at least.
one of the planning commissioners at least, that either be Nancy or Casey, since chair or vice chair, just so we can all understand as a team the requirements. You know what I mean?
But we should be able to zoom in all together. Mr. Bowling knows how to do
Yeah.
that. Right?
Yeah, that'd be excellent. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
All right. I'll try
So
to.
maybe just send an email around, and I can share my availability, and one or two of the planning commissioners can share, and yeah, we
Okay.
try our best. Yeah.
So I'll try to get that out tomorrow to get feelers out. I'm gonna be out of office on Wednesday for a day-long class. So that's the only day that I'm not available. But Thursday and Friday, pretty open.
Super. Okay. Awesome.
All right.
Great.
Thank you, Olivia.
Yes, thank you.
Glad that we're almost done after 3 years. Yeah. Yeah. Nancy and I have been focusing on trying to promote the comprehensive plan. So hopefully that will bear fruit in the future. I mean, for instance, I've been talking to a lot of planners in the state, and yeah, just want to get our processes out there to let them know what we're doing. Yeah. So hopefully that bears fruit. Yeah.
That's really great, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, last thing, well, Molly, do you have anything pertaining to us that council is doing?
I don't know what to say except for that none of it really pertains to planning commission, so I can just leave it like that, but there's been some stuff, and we have to get to the budget, and so I think that's been a point of contention and et cetera, but yeah, not a whole lot to report at that night.
Budgets and government.
Yep.
Is there any other business coming for us this evening?
If I could just ask a question, Molly, do you think there might be room for any sidewalk money or a grant writer in the budget?
But it's definitely worth talking about. One of the things that Southern is doing right now is they're putting together they're working a plan for a sidewalk up in the area that would connect to the West Village. And they're gonna leave that with us, so it's not like, there's gonna be any funds for that, but it would give us a good idea of how much that would cost us and what we need and all of that. I don't know where any of that is possible at this time, but.
Yeah.
He said that he's trying to,
It was just the plan.
he's setting it up so that we can apply for a grant.
You dash one, oops.
I'm so sorry, they did their sidewalks up in the, in the community.
And they're setting it up to be connectable.
But they did not agree to do any additional sidewalks, and that was obviously talked about a lot. Before that, when we were talking about the factory and everything, but. Yeah, sidewalks is something we really wanna do, connecting the community with uptown and. It's really exciting if we, do something with East Village, that would be great with all the trails that you all have spent so much time working on. It's coming together, but we need an infusion of cash, so if anybody has any cash.
Yeah, that would be great.
If the millions, line project is already been
Which project?
funded and, from downtown, so.
Yeah, I think it would be great. My dream was to figure out a way to go down through bamboo,
Mm,
you know,
Do you
I
have
think that would be
something?
wonderful. Oh.
Oh yeah, I was just going to add, Nancy and I met with the Fluvanna planning director a couple weeks ago. Yeah, right around the time we had the hearing, and he mentioned a really good input, and it's related to this sidewalk plan that's being produced. He suggested to maybe consider so-called lower procurement bar sidewalk developments. Basically, if the town can use its own money or get money from the counties, they don't have to go through the whole VDOT procurement process. So if you remember the previous VDOT grant that the town got for sidewalks, it was like $2 million and the match was $200,000. And if you dive into the details, the engineering fees on that alone were 300 some $1,000. But the good thing about what I just heard from the West Village is they're actually doing the plan or the engineering drawings or some sort of drawings for us, right?
Yeah.
For the town, right?
Yeah.
So this could open the door for this so-called not having to go through VDOT and finding other funds, and it's a whole lot cheaper because once a contractor bids for a VDOT project, it balloons the cost, right? Yeah. Because $300,000 for a sidewalk project is ridiculous just for the design of it, right? Yeah. Anyway, just a thought that I heard. So yeah, I think that's good. Yeah.
We had our work session with the supervisor. He was also very clear about how Albemarle would be would work with us on like economic development, that those kinds of projects.
Mhm.
And if we can tie into that, the sidewalks or any other project that we can want to do. Honestly, economic development would be a really great addition to all of that.
Right.
And so we're putting together information about what we can do on that.
Is there anything else? Do I hear a motion? to adjourn? Second, all in favor? Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Thank you. Good night. Bye.
Thank you, Lincoln. I love this.
Yeah, does it have?
Right in front.
Center.
Yeah, it's good.